Every year, at the end of the NFL season, there's one game that's anticipated by millions. This is known as the Super Bowl, where one team from the AFC conference and one team from the NFC conference try and grab glory that's been chasing their whole season for quite possibly their whole life. Now, what if I told you there's been a curse during this time that's lasted for 37 years? This is known as the Curse of the Super Bowl. Or the curse of QBs who lost the Super Bowl first time playing, yada yada yada. It's very long, that's why I didn't have my title as that. I hope it's not clickbait to some people. I mean, it's still a curse. I mean, shit. But I just wanted to get that out there. Also, before we start, my name is Random Tank. I'm a gaming channel. I do a little bit of random things. You get it? Ha ha ha. You know, I never seen a video like this, and I always like saw cool facts about the NFL, and I discovered this. Well, I heard about it, but like I noticed no one made like stuff on it, so I figured it'd be a cool video. So, like I said, if you guys do enjoy it, you know, show support. I love that, and comment what you guys thought about the video. So, yep, enjoy. All right, let me take all you guys back, and I'll talk about the youngins here. Even if you're old, I'll take you guys back. Why? The year's 1983. Take a sniff. Ah, fresh air. Ronald Reagan was president. Sally Ride became the first American woman to travel to space. Internet was born. Tom Cruise had just started acting. And Return of the Jedi was in theaters. Whew. And of course, the Cold War. But we're now going to enter the 1983 draft, where the Baltimore Colts at the time have just selected John Elway first pick. Then a year later, Elway was traded to the Denver Broncos for offensive lineman Chris Hinton, quarterback Mike Herman, and a first-round pick for the 1984 draft. Why is he important? Well, surprisingly, John Elway is the last QB to lose his first Super Bowl and then make it back to a Super Bowl and also win a Super Bowl. I know this sounds very crazy. There has not been a QB since Elway to do this. There's not been a QB to do this, yet alone go back to one, except for Jim Kelly, which we will get to. So in 1987, 1988, and 1990, John Elway lost 3 Super Bowls before finally in 1998 and 99 he won one. So not only did Elway lose the Super Bowl, he then made it to 3 other Super Bowls. So it took him 4 Super Bowls to finally win his first Super Bowl after losing his first 3. Just shows you how crazy NFL is. Now I'm going to name you the QBs who have lost the Super Bowl, QBs who have won the Super Bowl, the teams and everything as we go through this list to show you guys the real ras of this curse. First, of course, we're going to start with Elway, since he was the first to lose. He lost to Phil Simms' Giants 39-20. MVP was Phil Simms. By the way, Elway plays for the Broncos. Next Super Bowl was again John Elway leading the Broncos, but losing to Doug Williams-led Redskins 42-10. MVP was Doug Williams. Next, a QB other than Elway for just this 1 year was Boomer Esiason, who would lead the Bengals to the Super Bowl against the Joe Montana Niners, losing 20-16. Super Bowl MVP was Jerry Rice. Then again in 1990, John Elway returned to the Super Bowl with the Broncos, but lost to the Joe Montana Niners 55-10. Your MVP was Joe Montana. We now enter what is known as the Jim Kelly phase and the heartbroken Bills fans phase. I'm sorry for Bills fans for having to say this. In 1991, Jim Kelly led the Bills to the Super Bowl, but lost to Jeff Hollister Giants 20-19. Super Bowl MVP was Otis Anderson. In 1992, Jim Kelly again went to the Super Bowl, but lost to Mark Rypien-led Redskins 37-24. Super Bowl MVP was Mark Rypien. In 1993, Jim Kelly led his team to the Super Bowl, losing to Troy Aikman-led Cowboys 52-17. O.J. Simpson did the coin toss for this. MVP was Troy Aikman. And in 1994, yet again, Jim Kelly led his team to the Super Bowl to face the Cowboys in a rematch, but sadly lost once again to the Troy Aikman-led Cowboys 30-13. The MVP was Emmitt Smith. Bills fans lost only the NFC East. 1995, Stan Humphrey led the Chargers to the Super Bowl, but lost to Steve Young-led Niners 49-26. Super Bowl MVP was Steve Young. In 1996,
Neil O'Donnell
led the Steelers to the Super Bowl, but lost to Troy Aikman's Cowboys 27-17. MVP was cornerback Larry Brown. In 1997, Drew Bledsoe led the Patriots to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Brett Favre-led Packers 35-21. Super Bowl MVP was return specialist Desmond Howard. Then finally, in 1998, John Elway returned to the Super Bowl and defeat Brett Favre-led Packers 31-24 to secure his first Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP was running back Terrell Davis. So yes, I could have technically started here, but I wanted to show you guys the 12 years prior to Elway, and again, like I said, to show how hard it was and what is happening, and to just to really show what it's like, how like gotta like fight to win. And I wanted to start when he lost, so it makes sense. Then again in 1999, John Elway led the Broncos back to the Super Bowl and defeated the Chris Chandler Falcons 34-19, which he was the MVP, John Elway. Now we're entering the 2000s, I should say. In 2000, Steve McNair led the Titans to the Super Bowl, but lost to Kurt Warner-led Rams 23-16. Super Bowl MVP was Kurt Warner. 2001, Kerry Collins led his Giants to the Super Bowl to face the Elvis Grayback Ravens, but lost 34-7. Super Bowl MVP was Ray Lewis. In 2002, Kurt Warner returned to the Super Bowl with the Rams, but lost to a random QB no one knows. Tom Brady led Patriots 20-17. MVP was Tom Brady. This will end the greatest show on turf dominance, but also start a new dynasty in the NFL, introducing us to one of the greatest players, well, the greatest of all time. In 2003, the Super Bowl will be the last time a Super Bowl is played in January. Quarterback Rich Gannon led the Raiders to the Super Bowl in 2003, losing to Brad Johnson and John Gruden-led Bucks 48-21. Super Bowl MVP was safety Dexter Jones. In 2004, Jack Delhomme led Panthers to the Super Bowl, but would lose to the Tom Brady-led Patriots 33-29, who had made the Super Bowl 2 times in the last 3 years. Halftime show was actually P. Diddy. And your Super Bowl MVP was Tom Brady. In 2005, Don McNabb led the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl after losing 3 consecutive NFC championships. The pain that we Eagles fans had to endure. Finally, the Eagles reach the promised land and play the Patriots, who make it back-to-back performances, but lose to the Super Bowl 24-21, to which the Patriots are now considered a dynasty, and Brady has 3 rings in 4 years. At the time, they were the second team to win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, tying also with Cowboys. The Super Bowl MVP was wide receiver Deion Branch. In 2006, Matt Hasselbeck led the Seahawks to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Ben Roethlisberger-led Steelers 21-10. Ben Roethlisberger was 23 years old at this time. Super Bowl MVP was wide receiver Hines Ward. In 2007, Jay Cutler led his Bears to the Super Bowl to play the Peyton Manning-led Colts, for which the Colts beat the Bears 29-17. Their Super Bowl MVP was Peyton Manning. In 2008, Peyton Manning's brother Eli Manning led the Giants to the Super Bowl that faced Tom Brady-led Patriots. It would hand Brady his first Super Bowl loss and also end his undefeated season in the Super Bowl with a great defensive scheme that was put together by Steve Spagnuolo to win 17-14. It's one of the greatest defensive plans ever in NFL history. It was during the Super Bowl. It also has one of the greatest catches of all time, which is known as the helmet catch. Super Bowl MVP was Eli Manning. In 2009, Kurt Warner will return to the Super Bowl, leading the Cardinals this time to play against the Ben Roethlisberger-led Steelers, ultimately losing to them 27-23. With this victory, Steelers became the first team to win 6 Super Bowls. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was also the first Super Bowl where 2 QBs faced off against each other that have won their first Super Bowl. I think that's right. Wow. It is. This is the first time since 1983 that 2 QBs that won the Super Bowl faced off again. Though Kurt Warner did lose his second time. You know what I'm trying to say. Super Bowl MVP was wide receiver Santonio Holmes. In 2010, Drew Brees would lead the Saints to a Super Bowl win over Peyton Manning's Colts, 31-17, and claim its first Super Bowl win for the Saints as a franchise, and the only one. Super Bowl MVP was Drew Brees. In 2011, Aaron Rodgers will lead his Packers to the Super Bowl after being a wildcard team to play the Ben Roethlisberger-led Steelers, who are searching for their 7th Super Bowl ring as a franchise and Ben's 3rd. But the Packers will come away victoriously as they will beat them 31-25. Your Super Bowl MVP was Aaron Rodgers. In 2012, Eli Manning will return back to the Super Bowl after winning the NFC East, only 9 wins. Yeah, I remember this was such a cool Super Bowl. I hate the Giants because they're in our conference, but this was indeed a crazy stat. I think Eli Manning, even though he only went to 2, it's such hard Super Bowls. He will go into the playoffs and face the Patriots in the Super Bowl to a rematch from 2007. To which they will overcome the Patriots offense and win 21-17. Their MVP was Eli Manning once again. In 2013, Colin Kaepernick led the Niners to the Super Bowl to face the Joe Flacco-led Ravens. We all remember this Super Bowl as the lights went out in the 3rd, and the Ravens were in full effect when this happened. I mean, this game was looking over, but the Niners started coming back, but would fall short as they lost 34-31. It was also the first Super Bowl, I believe, that where two head coaches faced off against each other that were brothers. The MVP was Joe Flacco. In 2014, Peyton Manning would return back to the Super Bowl looking for his second with the Denver Broncos now, but he would have to face Russell Wilson and one of the most dominant defenses we have seen in a very long time in the Legion Boom. This Super Bowl also had two former divisional rivals meeting, since the Broncos and Seahawks used to be in the same division from 1977 to 2001. The Broncos started off the Super Bowl like really bad. I remember watching this, like it was so damn bad, and they will eventually lose this game 43-8. It was bad. It was the largest margin of win for an underdog team to win the Super Bowl since going into this year. I mean, Peyton Manning set records with 55 touchdowns. It was MVP. He had such a dominant offense, and he was shut down in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP was Malcolm Smith. And this was also the first time a team had 40 plus points and the other team had 10. It was also the Seahawks' first Super Bowl. In 2015, Seahawks will return back to the Super Bowl to face the dark side himself, Tom Brady and the Patriots. Now, out of all the Super Bowls, this one we all know is one of the dumbest mistakes in Super Bowl history. If you don't know this play, think about this. It's second and goal in the fourth quarter. There's 27 seconds left to go. You got a running back, which is the guy that gets the handoff, in the backfield, called beast mode. You have one timeout, 27 seconds to go in the Super Bowl fourth quarter. Score a touchdown here, it's ultimately over. I mean, you want to score here, but you decide to pass the ball. He passes the ball. Play prior, Malcolm Butler enters the game, rookie, and undercuts the pass thrown by Russell Wilson, catching the pick and sealing the win for the Patriots, giving Brady his fourth ring finally. The Super Bowl MVP was Tom Brady. Now in 2016, we have one of the hottest QBs in the league known as Cam Newton, who led the Panthers to the Super Bowl with a 17-1 record, just absolutely demising team, aka known as Superman. He will face off against the Broncos. Peyton Manning led, to which Peyton was most likely was his last year, and he was looking for a Super Bowl win to go out on and tie his brother with 2 rings. After Peyton put up, like I said, those numbers in 2013, this was something that he really wanted to win, and he would actually win the Super Bowl 24-10, giving him his second Super Bowl ring. The Super Bowl MVP was linebacker Von Miller. In 2017, Tom Brady returned to the Super Bowl. I mean, this was at that time when Tom Brady was like MVP. Tom Brady, he was the best. He was in prime. He was prime Tom Brady. He was scary here. He knew everything in football. He was just so scary. He was going against a red-hot Falcons team led by Matty Ice, who have dominated all year. I mean, the Falcons were finally looking to be that team to go and win their first Super Bowl. And at the end of the third, with 2 minutes to go, about to be the fourth, they led 28-3. As Falcons fans, I would have the same reaction as you guys all had. I thought I would be thinking this Super Bowl's over. Falcons fans were probably celebrating, and this Super Bowl looked lost. I remember watching the Super Bowl going, this Super Bowl is a blowout. It's over with. Well, the Pats would score 25 unanswered points, tying the game before going into overtime, which will be the first Super Bowl to enter overtime. Tom Brady would then win 34-28, completing the deemed to be impossible comeback. Ooh, insane. Giving Brady his 5th ring and the Patriots' 5th win in history, tying the Dallas Cowboys and Niners as the 5-team win Super Bowl team. Super Bowl MVP, of course, was Tom Brady. In 2018, Tom Brady returned back to the Super Bowl looking for the first team to three-peat. What stood in his way was a Carson Wentz-led team causing destruction in the NFC, and Wentz being the front runner to take the MVP away for Brady. That was until Carson Wentz tore his ACL and was injured, and Nick Foles took his place. Eagles will then enter the playoffs as the number 1 seed and will face the Super Bowl runners-up. Now, correct me if I was wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time in NFL history where a number 1 seed was underdogs to a 6 seed at home. Yes, I remember this time. This was such a, oh man, I would give anything to get this back. The Eagles will go be underdogs all playoffs, even in the Super Bowl, before eventually beating Brady in the Super Bowl 41-33, giving the Eagles its first Super Bowl ring. Brady missed out on the three-peat and having accomplished so much in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was so good. It was the most yards in any NFL game by both teams, and it happened in the Super Bowl. This was also the fewest punts by a team in the Super Bowl with only 1. Brady also beat his previous Super Bowl record with passing yards this year, which he threw for 505 yards. The year prior, he threw for 466, both in the Super Bowl. Spot on. Your Super Bowl MVP was Nick Foles. Sorry, I messed up. Brady was not looking for a three-peat. He was just looking to win the Super Bowl during our year. In 2019, Jared Goff led the Rams to the Super Bowl to face who else but Tom Brady, who's made the Super Bowl now 3 years in a row. This is considered one of the most boring Super Bowls if you've ever watched it. No one scored until finally in the fourth quarter, Sony Michel scored. The Patriots won 13-3, and Brady won his 6th ring and Pat's 6 wins, tying Pittsburgh all times in wins as a team. Brady will also put himself higher on the GOAT list, as now he has 2 rings ahead of Terry Bradshaw Montana, who had 4. Super Bowl MVP was Julian Edelman. In 2020, Jimmy G will lead the Niners to the Super Bowl to face the upcoming new face of the league, Patrick Mahomes led Chiefs. Now I know what you could be thinking or saying. Yes, Jimmy G won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots, but he was not the starter. This only applies to starters in the Super Bowl. So now, Jimmy G is starting for the Niners against the Chiefs. This was month before COVID would break out across the world. The Chiefs would beat the Niners 31-20, giving Mahomes his first Super Bowl ring. The Super Bowl MVP was Patrick Mahomes. In 2022, Mahomes led the Chiefs back to the Super Bowl to face the old GOAT himself. Tom Brady led Bucs now, as Tom Brady switched teams. This will be a Super Bowl between new generation and old generation. At how things are looking, it was pretty right. Although the Super Bowl was one-sided, Brady and the Bucs crushed the Chiefs 31-9, as Brady once again won a Super Bowl where the other team didn't score. The Eagles are the last team to score against Brady in the Super Bowl, even after return. Super Bowl MVP was Tom Brady. In 2022, Bengals will go to their first Super Bowl as Joe Burrow led the Bengals to the Super Bowl against a Rams team led by Matt Stafford, who came over from Detroit. Rams will win this game 23-20, and your Super Bowl MVP was Cooper Kupp. In 2023, Jalen Hurts will lead the Eagles to the Super Bowl to face the Chiefs, looking to bounce back from losing 2 years prior. We got one of the best Super Bowls in recent year, as we also had both brothers playing in the Super Bowl with Travis and Jason Kelce. The Chiefs will win this high-scoring game 30-35, giving Mahomes his 2nd ring. Your MVP was also Patrick Mahomes. In 2024, Niners went back to the Super Bowl yet again with another QB with the name Brock Purdy, who would verse the Chiefs again in a rematch 4 years prior. Chiefs will win this game 25-22, and the Super Bowl decided by overtime again. This was the 2nd time a Super Bowl has ever gone to overtime, and the Chiefs were underdogs for the 2nd year in a row. Super Bowl 25-22. Super Bowl MVP was Mahomes. Now, as we venture into the unknown in the NFL, I'll let you guys to take a second to embark on the journey we know to understand the journey we have ahead. It has been 37 years since a QB who lost the Super Bowl won it again, so it's been nearly half a century. All the greats who have come before all missed out on those opportunities again. We even have QBs who have won a Super Bowl the first time and never made it back. Just shows you how hard the NFL truly is and why there is a curse. Now, from this time I'm making this video, on the AFC side, the Chiefs are looking really good, and they're looking to do what no team has done, as they are looking to have a three-peat. They are now 9-1, and the Bills are 9-2 as they just beat the Chiefs. On the NFC side, the Lions are number 1 seed with a record 9-1, and the Eagles are the 2nd seed 8-2. Why is this interesting? Well, Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts have both lost the Super Bowl, but they are also the leading teams in the NFC at the moment. They have a chance to return to the Super Bowl if they are to go all the way. Because right now, I'll be honest with you, the Lions are good. The Lions are really good. The Eagles are nice. They have a really good defense. Both teams have a chance to make it. But will they? The only team in the NFC side, though, that has right now been to the Super Bowl and lost is Joe Burrow Bengals, which at the moment don't look like they'll make the playoffs. So we could get a new face over there in the AFC, or we can get Mahomes again. And if we get a new face, well, it doesn't matter because the curse will still be intact since it's a new face, unless they lose and then they make it back. Now I can go on and on about what teams I think could win and accomplish this trait, or how the Eagles Super Bowl was cursed a bit in my eyes. The reason I say this is because there's never been a team in the Super Bowl to put up 35 points and lose. Mahomes beat the curse also of a QB to win the regular season MVP and then go and win the Super Bowl. Another curse that's been active since 2000 before Mahomes did it. I know there's a lot of curses in the NFL. What I mean by that is since 2000, any QB that has won the MVP has lost in the Super Bowl or not even made it. Yeah. Kind of crazy. If you look at the facts, into Mahomes, of course, did it the year that he beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl 2022-23. I can also say that I'm pretty sure the team that has lost or won the coin toss in the last 7 Super Bowls lost into us. I can say stupid stuff like that just to make it more fitting to say, hey, the Eagles could be that team to make it back. Let alone try and win it. I mean, you know, try to put in like good favor, put in like stuff. I can say stuff about other teams. I can also say like how I think in the AFC side, we don't have those teams anymore. Like, there could be a team over there. Like, I think Bengals could come back in near years and make it back to the Super Bowl. Even if they lose it, they can make it back to the Super Bowl. I think Josh Allen can go to the Super Bowl. I think it's like that over there. It's like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type way. I think that I really think over here, Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts could be that team to go back to the Super Bowl and make it, yet alone try to win it. Do you know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Will this curse be broken in the next few years? Or will this dreadful curse live on, tormenting our QBs? Tormenting the QBs in the league. And fans forever.